Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to day 6 of the Valentine's Day Alcohol Ink card series. We are moving along. We have done a whole bunch of techniques. If you have not seen any of the previous videos in this series, I will link the playlist down below. Today, we are going to work with embossing folders and alcohol inks. So I am, for those of you of course just tuning in, I will kind of recap the supplies. We are using Yupo paper. So that is like a plastic man-made paper. It's got a very non-porous surface, so it's really shiny, and the alcohol inks can move around on it really easily. Today I'm not going to be using traditional alcohol ink colors. I decided I wanted to just play with some other colors. So I'm going to use some Stream and some Baja Blue, and we kind of used these a little bit before. I think I might get a different blue. Blue Violet maybe. Possibly Mojito. I just feel like working with some different colors because I've been working with all the pinks and the purples and the reds, and I would like to do some different stuff. I have got both alcohol blending solution, which helps to blend the alcohol inks around, as well as a bottle filled with 99% isopropyl alcohol. And alright, that being said, I'm going to put some gloves on and we're going to start to play. So I'm going to start by putting some isopropyl alcohol right down on my page. And I'm going to kind of just move it around with my finger and make sure everything's kind of coated. And then I'm going to start adding some inks. So in no particular way, I'm going to add all 4 of the colors that I mentioned. So Baja Blue, some Blue Violet from Pinata, and what the heck, let's go in with a tiny bit of Mojito. Okay, so I'm going to add a bit more alcohol on top of those, and I think I'm just going to kind of roll it, let it move around like this. Of course, it's kind of all blending together now. That isn't exactly what I wanted. Just gonna maybe take off a little bit of this ink. I got a little bit carried away. There's a surprise. Me getting carried away? No. Okay, there we go. Now let's work with what we got here. Okay, I'm just going to go over it one more time with my paintbrush. Now that you can kind of see all of the colors. Okay, and I'm going to let that do its thing. Okay, and I'm going to do one more, but maybe not quite so saturated. Let's go with the Blue Violet again. And let's do some teal this time. Or, I really like that Stream. Let's just go with the 2 colors. Just some Stream and the purple. and some alcohol. Just gonna rub it a little bit with my finger to blend it. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for that as well. I'm going to let those dry, and the fun part comes with the embossing folder. So I'm just going to let these dry, and then we will go from there. Okay, so my pieces have dried, and I'm just going to take my gloves off for this part. Okay, so this was the last one I did. Honestly, I like it so much. I'm so in love with it that I don't want to mess with it. I don't think I want to use an embossing folder on it. I want to keep it for something else. So I'm going to set this one aside because I think it's too pretty. Okay, but we will use this one in an embossing folder. I think it's pretty as well, but I'm okay letting it go into an embossing folder. Other one I just don't want to mess with at all. Okay, so this is a Spellbinders 3D embossing folder. European Tapestry it's called. It's a fairly old one. I've had it for a really long time, but it's a really pretty one. So, I'm going to put this in here and run it through my die cut machine. Okay, so I got a little overzealous apparently, and kind of went too crazy on this one and actually like ripped part of the paper, but I'm still going to be able to show you the technique. So normally you do this with sandpaper. I can't find any sandpaper, so I'm using a nail file. All I'm doing is kind of like taking off the top layer of the embossing folder, like the raised edge. So it looks like that. So that's pretty cool, but I wish I hadn't gotten so carried away. I actually like cut a hole in the paper. I'm gonna try one more time with a different embossing folder. Okay, so this is a Sizzix Damask number 4. Again, another really old embossing folder. I don't know if you can see that any better. I don't really have any Valentine's embossing folders, which is odd. So, because I don't want to use that other one that I made today, this is one that I've, background that I made a while back. It's using the pouncing technique with the felt that I did on, I think it was the first day. So I'm going to put this in and run it through my die cut machine. Okay, so you can see the impression kind of, but once I take the file to it, you'll be able to see it better. Okay, well, you get the idea. It would be much better with sandpaper. This isn't working as well as I'd hoped the nail file, but you can definitely see what's happening, that it's like taking off the alcohol ink from the raised layer of the embossing folder. So next time I'll be sure to be a little bit more prepared and have sandpaper. But it still looks really, really cool. So here are our backgrounds from today, playing with the stencils. I have to say that I'm actually not super stoked on how these turned out. I think I did this one off camera because I was frustrated with these ones. I did this one off camera with a Simon Says stamp, what is it called? Lumen. Lumen? Yeah. So I did it with this embossing folder, and I like the way it turned out most. But the other two I'm not super fond of. I wonder if, I think I probably should have done the embossing folder first and then done the alcohol ink. I think that might have worked better. So, lesson learned. I will try that next time. So I'm not fond of these two, so I am not going to turn these into cards, but I'm going to turn this one into a card. And it is going to be super simple. I'm going to cut it down to size. So that is, my card base is 4 1/8 by 5 3/4. So I'm going to cut this down to 3 7/8 by 5 1/2. I'm just going to put some die cuts on there. I cut this out always and forever. I cut that out of, it's a Echo Park die. So I cut out of that 3 times, glued them together to create dimension, and now I'm going to glue them on here. And easy peasy, bang, boom, we are done with that card. So let's just put this on first before I say bang boom. And it's not bang boom, it's bada bing bada boom. Jeez. Amateur hour here. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I've been crafting for too long today, I think. I'm just going to trim that little forever a little bit. Okay, and now I'm just going to cover it with something heavy until it dries. And that is it for today's video. Yeah, today was a lesson in not everything goes perfectly and according to plan, and you're not, but that being said, I actually really love this card. We got one good card out of it. The other ones might not have turned out, but this one I really love, so yay us. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will leave the link down below to the whole playlist of the rest of the series. And we have one more day to go, so join me in the next and final episode of... Anyway, the next part of this series, the last part. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking. You guys are amazing. Bye! Please subscribe for more videos like this. Shameless plug.